Hey everybody, this is Dory, and I'm going to do a quick tutorial on how to use Google SketchUp 8 to help you draw in perspective and to help you draw interior spaces. When you open up Google SketchUp for the first time, what you're going to want to do is click Choose Template. That'll open up all of these templates that you can pick from. There's ones more for designing, and there's ones by feet and inches and meters and millimeters. This is basically your unit of measurement, and since I was growing up in the big, good United States, I use feet and inches. So on a plain view, this makes it easier for me to register what's going on. Then you click Start Using SketchUp. I would definitely recommend going online and actually watching all of the tutorials. It follows all of the basics, and she'll probably explain it better than I do. I'm just going to go over the essentials. When you come in here and you click the orbit tool, that'll move you around. That's what you'll use to change the angle in which you're looking at something. You'll see that this is a 3D plane, so you have your green and your red axis, and then you have your blue axis, which is your vertical up and down. So we're going to draw on the red axis, so you can click on origin. It'll tell you where you started. If you want to make it a perfect square, it's going to line up and it'll tell you when it's a square. It'll be like, hey, this is a square, and it'll pop up in the corner. So we're just going to make a square. And it doesn't look like a square from this way, but from the top you can definitely see that this is a square. So the thing you're probably going to be using the most is the push-pull tool. So you'll want to click on the top, and this little texture will appear on the top. That lets you know that this is what you're going to be pulling. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up some. And if you're drawing a cityscape, it's a good idea to just build a lot of boxes for reference. I wouldn't go into detail with all those windows in the drawing phase. I would do it in the painting phase. And so now I got this big block. Okay, what do I do with this block? It's just a block, right? Okay, so the easiest way to approach drawing buildings is to take the eraser tool and just erase this line right here, whichever one you want, so you can look inside. Every box that you build is going to be hollow. This is your zoom tool, and this is your pan tool. So your pan will let you grab and move this around with your mouse, so you can change up and down, right and left, but only on a flat plane. The orbit tool is what lets you turn. So it's a kind of a pain in the butt to navigate because you have to pan, orbit, pan, orbit. So it's kind of a pain, but it's free. To zoom, if you have a mouse, you click and you move in with your mouse scroller. If you have a mouse pad like I do, you have to hold down the key and when you click, and just move your finger back towards you to move away, and to move forward, just move your finger in towards the computer. So now we got this empty box. So I'm just gonna build a little door. So I got my door. And using this rectangle tool, you can draw with the line tool and make your own shapes to make a plane. Or you can go in with the freeform tool and just make random shapes. And as long as it's actually a complete shape, it will let you use this push-pull tool. So we're going to go ahead and Control Z. I use geometric shapes for my basis. If you feel confident enough to draw in unique shapes, have fun. So what we can do here is I can say, okay, I'm going to make a little door by moving it in just slightly. And a nifty thing about this, you can make an offset. The offset tool is right here. And when you click inside just one shape, like this door, it'll start making something that's either slightly bigger or slightly smaller than your door. So I can say, okay, I want to make one that's a little smaller. Let's get in closer here. And this is where moving around becomes a bit of a pain. But you get what you paid for, and that's nothing. So Okay, you can use the selection tool if Google Sketch doesn't know what you're doing. So I can say, hey, I want to select this section. If you just click in the middle and select the push-pull tool, and this will move it in. And then I can go down here and move this down, and voila, I got a door. That's pretty cool. Okay, so I can also do this to here to add a little outline, and you can use this as reference, or you can actually pull it out. Boop. Select it, and I can pull this to make a little indentation on my wall. Let's say you don't want this thing coming out of your wall over here. Let's see if we can get rid of that. Okay, we're gonna zoom in a little closer. And the good thing about the line tool is you can say, okay, I'm gonna make a little shape out of this. And when you go in and erase this, it should, whoop. Okay, yeah. Okay, here's what we need to do. We need to make a square on the square. And it's going to freak out about it. So we're going to step back a little. There we go. Okay. And select the thing. Okay, it's not letting me do what I want. But that program is just, it is what it is. So we're going to step back a step. And we're going to tell it no right here and right now. So let's draw a line here and erase this line. Now, let's go in here and select this form. Blah, 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 blah. Beep. So when you know that it selects this whole thing, something is wrong. So we're going to try and add another line down here and trying to select these separately. So it knows that they're there, it's just not selecting them appropriately. This program can be a bit of a pain sometimes, but it does have its uses. So let's say I can't fix that. That's okay. It's not a big deal. I didn't really go into big detail when I was doing it. Some people are really good at this. I'm not. I draw. That's what I do. So I get my basic gist down. Okay. So I got this wall here. Let's add a dresser over on this wall. Just a little something to give it more character and life to the by holding down my thing over here, when I slide down, it'll say, okay, you want to make this from this point, and it'll make it so it lines up. That way, you don't have to be right on top of it to know when things are supposed to line up. So you go to the endpoint of another shape, a little dotted line will appear, you make your new endpoint, slide over to this endpoint, and then it'll be like, ah, you want to line up with this. And I'm like, yes, I do. And then we'll do it again to make very simple shelves. Use the push, pull, and make some shelves. Okay. Now let's say you want to do something with a circle, a sphere. Let's say we want to put a window. So we're going to go ahead and pull this out and use the offset tool because it's my favorite tool. Okay, and we're going to use the pull this out, push this in, and now we have a window, and you can draw details in the window in Photoshop. This is basically just a reference to keep you from making perspective mistakes. Let's try importing models. The thing about importing a model, you can go to File, 3D Warehouse, Get Models. And you have to be connected to the internet or this won't open. Let's search for a table. The bad thing about this is it's very hard to rotate objects in this program. It's really glitchy, so I try to avoid importing objects when I can. people make some really nice models, but you know, they're just for references purposes. So we're going to download this dining room table, and then if you say load directly into Google SketchUp, it will appear in my hand, in my face, more like it. And you can use the orbit tool to get on the plane you want to look at, and your grab tool is right here, so you can grab onto this and slide it around. So we're going to want to get over here, and obviously this is ginormous. Way too big for my teeny tiny little house. Giants moved in and this isn't working. So you can scale things. To do this, where's the scale tool? Scale tool. Here it is. So you can take this, and just like in Photoshop, when you grab something on the corner, you can grab the scale tool and you can select this corner, and it'll say uniform from this spot, and then you can hold down. You're supposed to. Oh, shift is like the opposite. So instead of holding down shift to keep it the same shape, you hold down shift to warp the shape. So now we made it teeny tiny, not to be seen. And what you're gonna have to do is, if you import a model, you're gonna have to do some rotating to move it on the right plane that you want to move it on, and eventually you can get it into your room. So let's get in a little closer and see how this looks. So now we got a little table in our room. That's nice little table. But I think my ceiling's too high. So really quick, zoom out, pan up, orbit around, and I can very easily just lower my ceiling. So let's say you want to take a picture that has this box, this walnut missing. I believe you can draw a wall back in, as long as you keep it on the right plane. Oh no, my room, it's inside. What's so cool about this is you can actually go in through your door now, I believe. Bloop. So I can use my eraser tool and erase this bottom line, and ta-da! I open the door. Now getting into your simple models is sometimes a pain. Ah! Can't find the door. Zoom back. If you ever get lost, very simple to get out of it. Standard views, camera. Let's say we want to go on the top. Okay, so now I'm inside my room. That's convenient. Let's orbit and get back in the room. This is where things get kind of like, so back to top. We're going to zoom in first to make sure we don't fly out of the room. Pan back a little. So I want to get a nice shot to draw from. Boop. Going through the floor. Camera. Let's go to the front. Well, the front didn't really help either, did it? Bottom. There we go. So let's realize that taking a picture in such a small place might be kind of difficult. So we're going to just erase, whoops, erase a wall. So that'll take off your roof. So unless you're taking a picture from the floor, it's probably not going to matter that you're missing a wall. So let's go in and find an angle that we like. Let's say we like the way that this breaks up the space. So we're going to move in so it takes up the whole frame. And so now we got a nice, maybe a little more this way, a nice little composition where this breaks up the space. You got something here, you got your door, and your table, and your dresser, and you probably want to hang something, or maybe a window, another window, or a picture on the wall. So this is a pretty easy, yeah, this took like 10 minutes. So now all you got to do is go to export as 2D graphic. And I can call this living room. And I can save it as a PNG, or a JPEG, a TIFF, or a bitmap. I usually do PNG because it's bigger, but you don't really need it to be high quality because you're going to be drawing right on top of it. Okay, so that's a basic overview of how I used Google SketchUp to get my perspective. There are a lot of tutorials, so if you want to go into more complicated things, go watch those tutorials. I'll post one more video explaining how I go about the process of painting and going over my Google Sketch with line tools in Photoshop. Good luck, everybody!